Welcome to the Shiny Mind Show. Today, I have another transformational Neuro-Shine coach in the house, Leani Van Zyl. Welcome, Leani.
Are you ready to shine? Come on, it's the shiny one. You got this.
Thank you, Shiny. Thank you so much.
I love having you on the show. I cannot wait what we are going to cover. This is going to be delicious. And I want to start by asking you to introduce yourself the way you want to introduce yourself to everybody who is in our audience.
Well, okay, my name is Leani. I am a Neuro-Shine Technology Coach, and I've been a transformational coach for the last 5 years, 4 to 5 years. But I studied psychology. I never went into the field of psychology. I used it more as a background to help me in my work. And I come from the NGO sector where I did a lot of training, workshops, education, all of that. So, but about 5 years ago, I decided coaching seems to be the thing that's been presenting itself regularly in my life, and I started my first coaching transformational course, and then I ended up discovering Shiny and Neuro-Shine Technology, which has been the best decision so far, well, almost the best decision so far of my life.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah.
I love hearing that. The way that I talk about Leani, for those of you who are watching or listening, she is our go big or go home Neuro-Shine Technology Coach. That is literally her branding. She is like that, right? Aren't you, Leani?
There's no other way. I mean, how else would you do it? That's my question. How else would you do it? You go big or you go home.
You heard it. You heard it. That's that. How else would you do it? So, Leani, where are you joining from in the world so that we also know where you are? And perhaps you can tell the story about your last name, Van Z
Van Zyl.
Zyl, Van Zyl, Dutch.
That's a beautiful pronunciation. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa.
Cape Town, ladies and gentlemen.
Born and raised, but I've also traveled the world quite a bit, spent some time in Europe, UK, China, a little bit of everywhere. My surname is, yes, it's originally a Dutch surname. So my home language is Afrikaans. My second language is English, but I predominantly work in English as well. So I have very few Afrikaans clients actually, which is interesting.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Truly international, global, go big or go home spirit. We are experiencing.
Yeah.
So, Leani, you just graduated from my Neuro-Shine Technology Coaching Certification Program. And before I ask you your biggest takeaway, I also want to know, how did you find me again? How did we meet?
So this is very interesting. So I've been searching for an ICF registered coaching program.
Okay.
And I went onto the ICF's website, and this was quite a couple of this was I would say about 6 months before I found you for the second time. Your name popped out. I clicked on your website. I had a scan. And then I was like, okay, maybe not now. But it was the Neuro-Shine technology that grabbed my eye. And then obviously the purple on the website as well. And then a couple of months later on, I went on it again, and I didn't remember the name. I didn't remember the name of your academy. But again, for the second time, it just stood out, and I clicked on it, and I was like, I've been here before. And that's when how I reached out to you. So it was through the ICF's website. And then I didn't even go through pricing. I was just like, I want to do this. This is speaking to me. because it combines the science, the spirituality. It's this combination. Everything spoke to me right from the beginning. And I just knew, like, this is the course, because we want to have an understanding of what we're doing. And we want that fact-based, right? We want it science-based. And this is everything that your course offered. And that's when I emailed you.
Hey, yes, emailed me.
Yes.
I do remember your email, and then we started that conversation. Yeah, I actually remember that. And then after that, it was so an easy flow, the way that we met, the way that we talked, and how it was on the Zoom call, we connected, and then here you are finishing the program with
I know.
I am actually an instructor professor at UCLA. So I have been grading, I have been reading assignments, papers, that's part of it, comes with being a teacher. So I'm actually a teacher. And so looking at you from my teacher perspective, looking at your performance in the class, come on. We got, that's why everybody, my shiny minds who are watching, listening, this go big or go home spirit is the way that she studied, the way that she showed up, the way that you ask questions every time, engaging, going to the details, trying to understand the nuances between words and NLP and Neuro-Shine technology and everything that we are covering. You are the one who were the most engaging. Remember that, right?
Thank you, Shiny. I do remember. Yeah, thank you. I think at some point during the class, I was like, oh, am I asking too many questions? I should maybe stop raising my hand now.
Yes, you even verbally shared that. I'm like, no, no, no. This is exactly how you learn. This is you actually reprogram your mindset, you rewire your neurons. And that's also why you are who you are today. And I am so excited. And I am very, very curious now to ask you now, what is the most surprising takeaway that you took from my program, level 1, because you haven't done the level 2 yet, from my level 1, and why was it surprising?
The way I've always thought about the brain, and this is one of the parts of your course that I love, your actual brain that you hold, like, that really spoke to me. So how we think,
this guy right here.
that one, Shiny. Love it. Okay, so that one. Okay. The way we think about the brain is, I think, as we, I don't want to say grow older, but as we
get
adult, there we go. As we get wiser, we as humans have a tendency to get stuck, right, in our thinking patterns. To me, the surprising aspect was I look at the brain as this tool, and it's essentially software that can be modified, right? Okay, so to me it was surprising to find out how easy it is to modify the software if you show up, if you are determined enough. And this is something that is possible for all of us. We do not have to get stuck with a conditioned mind that we received growing up. All of these lessons and experiences that we've all had, we can actually say, listen, no, I want to think differently. I want to respond to this differently. Let me do it. And then show up for yourself, show up for the people around you, and then change the way you see yourself, change the way you see the world, and be that change. Right?
Yeah, of course. I always say that.
Be the change.
You want to see more in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead. I'm open for all questions.
As you sort of created this course, is there anything specific that stood out for you that was the most surprising of all of the? I mean, you've done 2 doctorates. You're credentialed to, I don't know how far and beyond. So, um, as you researched all of these things and put everything together, what stood out to you the most?
Oh my God, I love this question. I got to start with my dissertation papers.
Yeah.
Because whatever stood out, I put them on my papers. So the first fascinating research study that I had was about quantum physics and the observer effect. The observer effect. When I realized that our consciousness, when the consciousness interacts with our everyday experience, with our relationships, with the food that we eat, with the social media or information we consume, wherever we put consciousness into, wherever you insert your consciousness into, it changes. And that's, I believe, what is also you were talking about, how easy that was to change the software. Because what changes the software is the consciousness. And that consciousness, I mean, there's a full phenomena going on in the world of quantum physics. They call it the observer effect. There are Copenhagen interpretations, multiverse interpretations that they talk about. Science is still trying to figure out, but one thing that is common in the string theory, superstring theory, and theory of everything that they are trying to put everything together is that there is an undeniable existential consciousness, which is the fabric of the universe. So we have consciousness. And so the consciousness we have is actually how it shows up in the 3D world, because there is a higher consciousness, which is the fabric of the universe, the source. That one was, to me, the biggest. Oh my God, this is something I need to do something about it. I need to share this with the world. And then the second one is, again, in my studies, especially with the quantum physics and metaphysics, as I was studying metaphysics, I was actually going into the world of quantum physics as well. So it was all now getting all tangled up and then getting one. So the second one was, which I also cover, is quantum entanglement and
oh my gosh,
of everything. So when you look at those 2 principles as the foundational bedrock of your everyday mindset philosophy, it just shatters all the low level, shadow level frequencies, all the victim mentality, all the things that happens to me, I have no power, I'm poor me, all that is gone. All that is gone with those two principles that it's all from quantum physics, actually, both of them.
And it seems like, I mean, quantum physics and metaphysics obviously are deeply complicated topics, but you've just simplified it beautifully as well. But if we're all looking at a world from that perspective, what makes you think that, or what's your theory on why people become almost addicted to a victim mentality?
Because they are programmed that way. Because it's a programming. Because we are initially programmed that way. And that's the parental, societal conditioning that we grow up with, not having inserted our own truth and consciousness into what we are doing yet, connected us, right? So there is this consciousness, which I call, as you know, in my Neuro-Shine technology, the technology for truth. So if you know your truth, which means you have a high level of consciousness of who you really are. And if you really know who you really are, if you have that high level consciousness, which means you live a life in alignment with your truth, your true self. So then that kind of consciousness becomes your frequency that you insert into life. into doing things, into decision making, into relationship building, into food choices, into emotion choices, into relationship choices or friendship choices, activities, tasks, you name it, it is everywhere. How you do one thing is how you do everything.
I love that. I love when you say that. I've heard you say that a couple of times. How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Because this guy is with us all the time.
All the time. Absolutely. And there's always a pattern. There's always a pattern.
Yeah, there is always a pattern, and those are in our system. I mean, brain is just one piece of the big puzzle. We are
Yeah.
a whole system, as you know. There's the nervous system, there's gut system, endocrinology, there is nervous system, there is system of breathing and living, your organs. All of them are all one, creating you.
Yeah,
Co-creating you,
absolutely.
actually, co-creating you with the level of consciousness
Yeah.
you tap
Yeah.
into. And then that's
Yeah.
where it becomes a little bit metaphysical. Like, what is
Mm,
metaphysical? Like something that we cannot visibly see. It's not tangible.
mm,
So what is beyond physical is metaphysical. And so because
mm,
we don't see it, a lot of people are going to doubt it. Like, what is the
mm,
evidence? And so
mm.
self-evidence is actually the key here.
Yeah.
Self-mastery, self-evidence. I heard you say
Mm.
self-intervention when you were talking, and then when you said something, you said self-intervention. You did that.
Yeah.
You're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
Is this something that you do frequently yourself?
Well, self-intervention.
Uh-huh.
That's a good question because it's actually one of the things I I was reflecting on earlier today. In the past, you know, because my entire life has been focused around the counseling world and trying to create upliftment, and helping others. I thought it was for the longest time, it felt like the most natural thing to do, right? Just feels like you've got to do it. Obviously, I mean, how else do you do life? And this is another thing that your cause woke up inside of me was the idea that you decide, you make the decision. I was living life on autopilot,
Mm,
right? But
that cycle
I'm
of
not.
life.
Yes, yes, but I wasn't sure how that autopilot created itself. Does
Mm.
that make sense? I don't know how I got to that, like, okay, this is just how life is supposed to be, and it makes complete sense, and with your course, I started questioning why did I start doing these kinds of things? How did I get onto this route? And I think that without self-intervention, without self check-ins on a regular basis, we will continue life on
Oh,
autopilot, whatever autopilot it is. We're just going to continue and never stop and ask. And I have come to realize that some of the things I've done was due to survival. It was due to many other reasons, but but now moving forward, there's more decision behind it and choice behind it, and it's still natural, but it's no longer autopilot. It's
chosen.
more decision, but it's chosen. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, living in alignment with your truth.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. If you are able to have this consciousness, and that
Mm.
consciousness is able to do the self-intervention as you are doing,
Yeah.
and if that self-intervention is able to catch the autopilot, catch the patterns, the victim mentality we talked about, catch the poor me, catch the helplessness, hopelessness, and blaming and shaming and never owning up to your responsibility and never like just weak, right? So when we are in that victim mentality, the most important thing you need is that self-intervention. And
Yeah.
self-intervention requires a level of consciousness, awareness.
Yeah.
And when you are
Yeah.
able to use that conscious awareness and intervene the pattern, the autopilot victim thinking
Yeah.
pattern, then you are going to be out of it. And as you are out of it, you're going to see the difference. Okay, wait a minute. What did I do? Now it feels better. Oh, I was actually feeling so sorry for myself and everything sucked.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I chose not to feel sorry for myself.
Yeah.
I chose to see everything as my own choices, my own creation.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it empowered me. Oh, I actually love feeling empowered. I love going
Yeah.
through this empowerment cycle instead of the victim cycle. So that empowerment is where you become more aware of your patterns, your cycle. And as you go again and again, repeat that cycle of empowerment again and again and again and again, it becomes your choice. So you live life
Mm.
not on autopilot, what is taught to you, what is given to you. As I wrote in my book, you have a given life, you have a comfortable life, and then you have a cosmic life. So when you
Yeah.
live your truth, when you are able to choose your empowerment, your own choices, when you are able to say, no, that is not good. I know I need to work on my boundaries. It sucks in the
Mm.
to be able to say no, because I also come from people pleasing pattern
Oh, yeah.
myself. It is not easy. It's super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then the more you do it, the more you realize, what was I doing before?
Yeah. Why didn't I start saying no earlier? It's but it's that conditioning that we are taught to be in the victim state, be less, be small, don't take up
Yes,
space.
yes,
Um,
yeah.
Life happens to you, it doesn't happen for you.
Mhm.
And
You have to fight
I
for it.
realize you have to, exactly, it has to be hard. It has
Mhm.
to be hard. Everything is a fight. It has to be hard. But if we start also change the questions we ask ourselves, because I think a lot of people, and I know I'm generalizing now, but they're stuck in why is this happening? Why? And the brain will give you 500,000 things of why. It's going to
Exactly.
give you the reason, and you'll find the reason because this, because this, because this. But when you start just shifting that question to how can I do it in another way? What else is possible? What else is possible? How else can I approach it?
What else is possible?
Yeah, what else is possible? That is, I mean, and the options are unlimited, right? It's
Yes,
unlimited.
yes. That's where you tap into your go big or go home.
Yeah.
That is your
You
branding.
know, the other thing that your course also, and I'm actually clicking it now as we speak,
Oh, you should
is yeah, I'm having a Neuro-Shine moment right here, right now. um,
celebrate it.
yes, absolutely, because this is really, really amazing. Wait, where are my emojis? The course helped, well, me specifically, become more creative
Mm,
in my thinking and in my problem solving.
mm.
Because even though I've always been asking myself, how else can I do it? What else? You try to, but you also get an autopilot of that, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So let's expand that let's expand that pattern of self-questioning to an even further self-questioning, right? And go deeper with yourself.
Mhm.
And that's what your course even brought in even more, was just let's dig a little bit deeper. Um, Because there's
Yeah,
a lot to discover inside of us as people.
exactly. Self-discovery
Yeah.
is truly delicious. And I believe a lot of us need more of that. As you know, I just came from San Diego from SHRM conference. And that is, for those of you who don't know what SHRM stands for, it's Society of Human Resources and Management. And it was a huge conference. It was about 25,000 people in San Diego Convention.
Wow.
And I had a chance to have conversations with HR professionals in the corporate America, and not even corporate America, corporate world from all over the world. There were people from Sweden, India, Germany, all
Wow.
places. And one one thing that stood out as a struggle, let me put it that way, as a struggle for
Mhm.
all the people in the majority of people in the corporate HR professionals, they feel like there is a lack of leadership alignment. It's literally that word. Like one lady shared that. And then when I asked the question to the other lady that I spoke, she also talked about that. And then when I heard it from the third person, I'm like, that's it. Like this is a pattern.
Yeah.
And that leadership alignment means people who are at the higher levels, decision making leadership levels, are hiring the HR professionals for a reason, but and then they're forgetting why they hire them, and then they are falling victim to their own ego-driven policies, and then they are
Yeah.
questioning why the HR professional is doing whatever they're doing
Yeah.
or getting that's what they're hired for because there is ego, because it is actually an ego war at that point.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easy. And that's what I am seeing, and that's what I am noticing. And then that's why you're also talking about, majority of people need to do that. That's true. That's
Yeah.
reality. That is reality. That's happening. And when you are in that autopilot of every day going to work, every day doing the
Mm.
project tasks, every day
Yeah.
going to the meetings, you're somewhat in a loop. Yes, you
Yeah.
experience the corporate or organizational mission and vision and goals and values and all that. And still you are in that loop. And that loop gives you a defined set of structure where you need
Yeah.
to be a certain person.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get to have time. Let me just close the loop. You don't get to have time to sit with yourself, to go deep with yourself, to do the self discovery, to ask these questions. What else is possible? Who else can I be?
Mm.
I'm getting goosebumps. How else can I
Yeah.
contribute to the world? You don't get to have time to do all of those things. That's luxurious.
Right? People see that, yes, as a luxury. And the other question people, I know when I say people, this is like a super broad generalization. I don't mean
Yeah.
all people, just, the autopiloted state of us as humans is we forget that apart from asking these questions to ourselves, we can also ask for help from others. But the conditioning also includes I have to do it all. And
Mhm.
I have to be successful at it all. And that's also the ego that
That is
drives
oh,
that.
that is true. That is also ego.
Yeah.
Very good point. Yes.
And I can just imagine, to add to this conference, the frustration level of everyone within the HR environment having to sit and then deal with these issues that was not created by them, but they've got to solve it
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah. They got to solve it. And when they're not able to solve it, guess what you have? You have a cap about you.
Yeah.
And then, all those studies with the flies. You put a cap,
Yeah.
they try to get out of it, like try one, try two, try three, and then after that, they don't try. So this is exactly what happens. That's the conditioning I'm talking about. That's the conditioning at the
Mm.
workplace, in organizational cultures, and everywhere you go, there is a culture, there's a cap. So wherever there's a
Mm.
cap that teaches you cannot go beyond that, that just limits you.
Mm.
That is not expensive.
Mm.
And that is where I get like so passionate. I'm like, oh, there's more in you. Let's just.
Out of curiosity, how frustrating do you get when you experience situations like that? When you see, like, oh, so much is possible here, given your experience and what you've done, created, just discovered in the world. When
Mhm.
you see these things, what happens inside of you?
It's going to surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
I take it as this. It doesn't frustrate
Mm.
me. I just see it and then I just look at it as the information because I accepted the fact that everybody has their own divine timing.
Uh, oh, yeah.
You know, I've been there
Mm.
myself, you've been there yourself, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when there is divine timing, I'm going to talk about that again. Like when the timing is right, when the student is ready,
Yeah.
the teacher shows up. If the student is not ready,
Mm.
they will never ever see the teacher. They will never ever see the possibilities because it's not in their consciousness level. They are not at that
Yeah.
frequency yet. So that's how this is a very actually clear evidence that we create and then we live our own reality.
Yeah. Oh, I've got goosebumps now.
Yeah, because over here you have this infinite possibilities and whatever you can do and whatever you
Mm.
can be, and whoever you want to be. And then over here, there is this structured, safe,
Yeah.
structured, certain way of living that is comfortable, that you don't have to worry about your next paycheck. You have salary,
Yeah.
there's certainty.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
boundaries and then there are kind of like, frustrations with the upper management or the leadership team and all that. But
Yeah.
there's a but.
There's
But
always a but.
but it's comfortable. And then I get that. I have been there and which is totally
Yeah.
okay. So I
Yeah.
normalize everything. Because I normalize everything,
Mm.
it only makes me feel more passionate. It doesn't come from frustration, it comes from
Mhm.
empathy. And it just reminds me, oh my God, I was there. Ooh, I feel how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt so
Yeah.
undervalued. I felt so limited. I felt so judged,
Yeah.
so judged. I felt that. And I can empathize with those
Mm.
people. And still,
Mm.
they gotta go through life and then they gotta find a moment in time where their heart is gonna tell them enough is enough, go to the
Mm.
other side.
Mm.
When they don't say that, when there is no self-intervention, self-consciousness, when there is
Yeah.
metaphysical alignment in their field, it's just not gonna happen, and that's okay.
And that's okay because you've got to trust the journey. As you said, divine timing. I mean, I'm reminded of it again and again because the teacher shows up when the student is ready,
Yeah.
and you're only going to receive when you're ready. You'll be open to receiving when you're ready.
Yeah, there are so many studies, there are so many researches
Yeah,
that prove, that show the evidence that if you're not ready, you're not going to see it, you're not going to hear it.
you're not gonna hear or see it. Yeah,
You are biologically blocked to see or hear the information if you're not ready for it. Remember the
yeah,
brain, the reticular activating system?
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
in the reticular activating system, that's a system that activates the attention, the filtering system.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
filtering system is not activated, as you know, there is 7 plus or 2 minus bits of information, the deletion that we do
Yeah,
in the process.
yeah.
Everything that you are not ready to hear, you're not ready
You
to
won't.
process, you won't. It's just going to be deleted. That's how.
I'm so curious about the amount of information that we actually miss on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, that is on the other side, we're missing so much,
So much. Hmm.
but on hand, we are perhaps not always ready to have all of it that's available,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly why you like even in my program, when you come to level 2, you're going to go through majority of the process, majority of the information, the content again, because your brain is now at a different level, and then you're going to filter out some different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another part of your course. I remember, and I think I still said it during one of the classes, but it was 1 week during which you cover the listening, the different levels of listening. And it's listening has always been a fascinating thing to me, because listening and active listening, it's different to just hearing someone speak.
Yeah.
It's listening to what they are saying,
Yeah.
and listening to the said and the unsaid, right?
Yeah.
It's and the unsaid is often more than the said.
Exactly.
And that part of the course is also, it wasn't surprising, but it's definitely one of my strongest remembrances,
Yeah.
of the entire experience, because it also I remember doing listening skills during a counseling course that I did. I worked for Lifeline, which is a helpline here in South Africa for a very long time. And you obviously cover listening skills. And I remember I found it at that point interesting. That was in my early 20s. But now, when I did it now, I was like, this is an entirely different ballgame. And the way that you explain it as well, it lands, it stays. But maybe I was ready to receive. That's
Exactly.
the
That
other
too.
thing.
That too. I don't know. Of course, I mean, my content is awesome. That's
I
that's
mean, your
also
content, to anybody ever thinking, listen, the content is amazing, the teacher is even better. But I mean, seriously, everything stays, like most things stays, if you're ready to receive.
if you're
Yeah.
ready to receive. That's it. For anybody who is in our Shiny Minds show audience, anybody listening, hearing,
Yeah.
wondering, what am I gonna get out of this program? Because if you are watching or listening to my show, I always invite you to go to my website, shinyvanzyl.com, and go get that free PDF guide that is going to show you the first 3 steps that you can take to even ask yourself, do I want to become a coach? And if I don't want to become a coach, what am I going to do with this information, with this program, with this training? Like, why do I need it? The answer is right here. That's why we're sharing, right, Leani? So for somebody,
Yeah.
so let me just then ask you this question. For somebody who is, because it's a big investment, I also took my time
Yeah.
to invest in my own training program. I understand that it can take months, sometimes years. So for somebody who is not sure if they should get this program, they should get the training, the content, and if they are not clear, because you are a transformational coach and you have been doing it for 4 to 5 years, what would you say to those people? What are you going to get out of that?
Okay, first, I would highly recommend this to each and every person on this planet, because something like this is an investment in yourself. And even if you do not become a coach or choose to not use it as in the coaching business or in your profession, what you learn about yourself, for yourself, with yourself is absolutely priceless. So you walk away with, well, a beautiful set of skills, a beautiful set of coaching skills, and ICF accredited certification. I think what's more beautiful is you walk away hand in hand with yourself.
Oh, wow. Oof.
You walk away hand in hand with yourself. It's almost like, this is how I've been feeling. I took my own hand and I was like, hey, come, let's go. Let's do this. And I think, sometimes we're scared, right? Sometimes we're scared to do it, but it has been, to me, this has been a massive transformational experience. And I really believe for any person this is a transformational experience,
Wow.
whether you coach or not.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what my heart wants to share with everyone in my show, in my whatever that I share with the world. I want to share what we are going through is a lot because we are programmed and then we don't necessarily see what we can't see. We can't see what we can see. It's called a blind spot for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're blind to it. You don't know what you don't know. You can't see what you can't see. And that's why you don't have to do this alone. You have these people who have kind of studied it, like been there and then kind of discovered a few things. I'm not claiming that I know everything. I'm claiming I know very amazing things that can help you walk away hand in hand with yourself, like Leani is saying.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a deepening experience for anybody who is debating, do I want this? Can I do this? Like, if you're even, this is a big question, right, Leani? I mean, I'm sure you didn't have it because you've been coaching for so long, but you will remember in our cohort, like, can I really do this? Can I really coach somebody? Can I really create change and transformation for somebody else? That's also another question. And
it's a big question.
Very big one. Yeah, very big one.
Yeah.
And once you understand that it starts within, you understand how you create a change and transformation within yourself, for yourself, like Leani is saying. Let's go hand in hand. Let's do this together.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So sweet. You're literally coaching yourself first. And then that's why you're saying self-intervention, self-discovery, self-questioning. You are embodying what I am all talking about here. And that's why I want you to share your experience with people in our audience because you just graduated and this is fresh and it is hashtag on a mission.
Hashtag on a mission. And you know what, because for me, I even had, I mean, even though I had the experience of coaching by that time when I started, firstly, I still doubted because am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to be able to find time with it for this? And I mean, look, if we look at that cohort of everybody's different time zones, everybody that was just attending that said at, 1 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to do this at, all the different, everybody showed up and they were there. But I asked myself, can I do this? Because I've been almost on autopilot as a coach myself, right? So you become stagnant, and you become automated in the way that you work,
right?
And that should never happen. I know we shouldn't say should, but that should never happen.
You are adorable.
Don't be a robot in your job. Don't be the robot.
Yeah, because this is it. Because you want to design it, define it, refine it, and design it on your own way.
Absolutely.
Live in alignment with your truths. Wow. Yeah, that's wonderful. So I'm going to ask one more question and then we can wrap. I know it's just so amazing to talk to you about. I can talk to you like all day. So we are talking about my coaching certification program. We have been talking about it so far. And then you also experienced the coaching business school, which is a totally different program to help coaches to start or grow their businesses with all the AI powered tools and everything. So what will you say was your biggest takeaway from my coaching business school program?
Shani, can I just say, like, that is a really hard question when you ask, what is your biggest takeaway? Because everything is a massive takeaway. That's the thing. You're like, how do you choose? So the biggest one, I cannot pinpoint the biggest one, but what I do know, the business school was, again, as a bonus that's added to this program. You cannot put a price tag on that because many of us, we go, for example, perhaps into the coaching world or a counseling world or the helping world, wherever you're at, and that's where your strength is. Your strength is not necessarily in business. And I know that's been a problem of mine. I'm like, I know how to do this thing, but this thing, nah, I have no idea. And this is where the business school helped so much. So bringing AI in, learning how to use the prompts, learning how to teach AI how to work with you, for you as well. That has been absolutely amazing. And just understanding the core basics of marketing.
Yeah.
The things, and I know we can all go and Google that,
Yeah.
but again, just sitting, hearing, having discussions, conversations, a community that surrounded you, different people asking different questions, which also enrich your own brain.
Correct.
So yeah, one big takeaway, I cannot pinpoint all of the above.
It's galactic.
Yeah, it's galactic. Exactly. You can't. It's galactic, Shiny.
Go big or go home. That's it.
Go big or go home.
That's it from Liani. That's wonderful. I love that what you are saying, because
Yeah.
most of the time what I kept hearing, seeing, and feeling from my graduates for years and years, I have been teaching coaching and NLP for so many years. I realized all my graduates are, yeah, they have these amazing life skills. They have this communication skills. They have this
Yeah,
transformational coaching skills, and they still lack the business skills.
absolutely.
They still need to work with clients, how to find the client, how to
Yeah,
turn a beautiful conversation into a business relationship, how to
yeah,
put together a very delicious offer with a ribbon on top, like your offers.
yeah,
Like all of those
yeah.
things, I saw that it has been a struggle, and that's why I created it. Obviously, I that my background is marketing, so that helps. And still, I will tell you, when we go to coaching business school, I love that conversation, because the first 11 weeks, we are all watched by ICF. And then there is like ICF language and the coaching
Yeah,
skills. And then there is the curriculum, right?
yeah.
And
That
when
you
we start
follow.
a coaching business school, I'm like, hello, my shiny minds. Let's talk now. You can ask me anything you want. I'm going to tell you everything that I want. I just love it. And then, as you will remember, everybody leaves the business school like
Mm,
unleashed, like energized.
yeah.
I also leave the business school like energized. Oh my God, let's get things done. Let's get done business.
That's it. I wanted to ask you, what do you take away from the business school? Like what is yours sort of when you finish and wrap that up? What's it like for you?
I love so much, because I see everybody taking away things and then they are ready to go implement and get things done. And then I
Yeah,
love sitting in this part of the table and being able to co-create this magical environment where people take away things to implement, because that is where the ripple effect begins for me. And then my
yeah,
mind goes, oh my God, they're going to go put together their website, their landing page, their offers. They're going to use my Dr. Shiny AI and the language, the offer, everything we're going to co create together. Now we're going to go create a bigger impact. And I am calculating, if I have this many students in my business school, and then if they have this many clients, and if their clients have this many friends, and then other people that they can, like, I am calculating the ripple effect, and that's why also
yeah.
I get super energized.
Yeah, because that is, can I just add
Yeah.
something? Like I've had the privilege of sitting in the business school twice now.
Nice, right.
And the second time around has been, I almost want to say, more magical than the first time around, because the first time you're like, okay, you're hearing the core basics or you're taking in the core basics. Now, the second time around, you're taking in the core basics and it's got that additional second and third level to it because you're getting more.
Yeah.
Um, Your Dr. Shiny AI, by the way, is amazing, Shiny. Really,
She is super smart,
she's
shiny,
super
and
smart.
sassy.
Yeah, very, 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 really. It's like Shiny AI. Where you're there. Sorry, a
Yeah,
little bit late.
huge. Yeah, she's super good. I trained her really well.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah,
you did. I
certainly.
don't know how you did that, but yeah, that was amazing.
Certainly. Thank you for that. That is absolutely just so good to have my little clone over there able to support everybody 24/7 when I am not there. She's there. That's
It's
cute.
like
That's cool.
hashtag Leani goals.
Ah,
Creating my little clone at some point.
yeah, and it goes, right? Totally.
Yeah.
And I also want to highlight something because obviously you're on my website as an upcoming faculty trainer.
Absolutely.
Ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, we are going to have this wonderful lady, go big or go home spirit, in our Academy of Neuro-Shine Technology starting next year, so in divine timing. So we would,
Divine timing.
right? We would love to share this beautiful energy, this news with you because it is very, very
Yeah.
meaningful for us. So I look forward to magical experiences, Leani.
Oh, thank you, Shiny. Thank you so much. And this is, I mean, I would not have said yes to any of this had I not believed in what you do. And my absolute firm belief that, as I said earlier, this world needs this. The world needs this. The
Yeah,
world needs this.
the world needs this. Absolutely.
Humanity needs this. We
Yeah,
all have that capability. We've got the strength. We've got the love. We've got everything. We actually have every resource that we need inside of us.
yeah, that's true.
Um, so you are this vehicle of change, and thank you for bringing that
Ah,
to this planet. Thank you for choosing planet Earth as your home, firstly. Thank you.
that was the best compliment I've ever heard, I think. So thank you for choosing planet Earth.
I mean, there are so many other planets you could
I
have
know,
chosen,
right?
and you're like, no, I'm going down to this one.
I feel like this is my cosmic assignment and hashtag
Yeah.
mission. So it's a good thing we found each other now. So we're gonna play the
I
game
know.
together. Absolutely. So that's it. Do you have any parting words before we close and say goodbye to everybody, Leani?
No, I think I said everything I wanted. I just thank you to you, Shiny, for this opportunity, for hosting me tonight, and for having me on your show, for giving me the opportunity to be part of this program, for helping me, helping to change the world
Oh,
and making it a better place.
that's it.
So
That
thank
is going
you.
galactic. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop
Yeah.
moment. That's
There we
that's
go.
where we go. So that's where we end, everybody. Shiny minds and shiny minds to be who are in the
Yeah.
audience. Please join us in our movement, one shiny mind at a time. We are
Just
changing
one.
the world, just one at a time,
Just one.
because one is already big enough in terms of
Yeah.
evolving and elevating the consciousness of our humanity. And if that one is you, we would love to have you. We would love to invite you. Just like this
Yeah.
video, share it, subscribe, be a part of our world. That's how we're going to change the world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, Leani. It's been delicious.
Thank you, Shiny. Thank you so, so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Oh, so thanks, everybody. And until next time, keep those minds shining.
There we go.
Go galactic.
Go galactic. Go galactic.
Then you're in the right place. Let's go, let's go.